Once you get through all the works, like today was my final work preparations, and so now it's, every day, it's, you come in the morning, you hope you don't hear any any bad news, and so it's, we're all like, we're we're excited, but we just keep it low. I don't want to jinx myself. I just want to feel, everything runs smooth. You make sure, so many things can go wrong. So I don't get ahead of myself. I just, everybody stays focused. Take care of your horses. Make sure everything's, they're eating well. They're, sickness. There's so many things that can go wrong. So you're not, until I put the saddle on, that's when I finally relax.
So what are some of the traits that Arabian Knight has that maybe that the top horses all seem to have, besides being fast?
I think it's brilliance. He has brilliance. He's shown that from day one, and he gets that from his grandsire, Indian Charlie, who I actually was bred him. Soviet Sojourn, his mother, was my first grade stakes winner. We bred her to In Excess. He was a cow bred, and he was a brilliant racehorse himself, and he passes it on to Uncle Mo, who's a brilliant racehorse, and I really had a lot of good luck with the Uncle Mo. So I love that Indian Charlie line. Like a Flight Line was out of an Indian Charlie mare. That's where he got his brilliance from. So it's something that, he has that look to him. If you look at him, he just looks like, he's just his body type. He's just a specimen of what a really fast horse is supposed to look like.
Do you ever play the what if game if you would have made it to the Triple Crown?
No, I never look back. I just worry about what's going on now, and it's one of these things where you just, I think under the circumstances he could have made it, but you just can't worry about stuff like that. I just focus on what's going on. I would just focus, the Haskell was the first thing, and after that, it was a lightly race. I remember taking him to Arkansas for a long layoff, and it was muddy, and the track was sort of, just sticky. It wasn't a good racetrack, and I was a little bit worried about it, and he just handled that like it was his 10th start. I mean, it was the second start, and he just handled it like a professional. So he's got a great mind for, some horses, they can be aggressive, but he's got a great mind. I don't think about the competition. I think about just having my horse ready to run, because it doesn't matter if he's not ready. It doesn't matter who's in there, But post position, racing luck, they have to get out of the gate. Stuff that's out of my control, I don't worry about. And so I just, my focus right now is just keeping these horses. We got to keep them healthy and bright and sharp for the next, until Friday, Saturday. Breeders' Cup is like the Olympics. They're very, there's different categories. And to us, you can say, if you see a horse that is a really good horse, but you have to watch him, and if he's showing you in the mornings that he is really, the energy's there, they're happy, they're training well, they look healthy, then that horse is going to show up. Sometimes you'll see a horse that is a really good horse, but some horses might be tailing this time of year. A lot of horses, they'll peak early, then they'll tail later on. So you're looking for the horses that are getting better, that are peaking. And so, I used to, I've taken a different approach. It were early years. By the time the Breeders' Cup came along, a lot of my horses, they were tired. They'd won a lot of races, but they were tired. So you have to sort of point for the Breeders' Cup. That's the thing the Breeders' Cup brings to the table, is there's going to be a spectacular race. Last year we saw Flight Line just zip around there, they were just screaming around there. He just kept finding more gears, and so when you see something like that, it's really the memories, and like American Pharoah winning the Triple Crown and then going out and winning the Breeders' Cup, and I've never been so nervous I didn't want to go out and win any of the parties, and then he turned for home. I was thinking I should have gone to all those parties, man. I didn't think it was going to be this easy, but it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's exciting at the same time.
Arabian Knight, showing all the signs that he's.
Well, we know he's brilliant. He's a brilliant racehorse. He's lightly raced. He's basically one-dimensional. He's speed horse, and there's a lot of speed in there. So I think we'll see what kind of trip he works out there. But he's doing well. I think the mile and a quarter, he passed the test at Del Mar. It looked like he was out of horse, but if they'd come to him, he'd just keep going, and he wasn't going to let a horse pass him. And so that was pretty. I think that really showed me there that the really good horses, they'll give you that extra effort, and that's what I love. Like Justify, was he a mile and a half horse? No. Was he a mile and a quarter horse? No, he was a good mile, but he was so great, he just kept going. I'm excited about my 2-year-olds. We've got Wind Me Up, who's by Universal, and he's a horse that's going to be, he's getting better and better. He's been working better, and he's lightly raced. We've got Prince of Monaco, who's probably the fastest of the three. Ran 2 really great races at Del Mar. I was going to run him in the Faro here, but I freshened him up because he ran 2, and I think he'll run better fresh. He hasn't gotten the 2 turns yet, but he hasn't shown us anything in the morning like he wouldn't get it. He's pretty tough and he's manageable. He has a lot of speed, but he's not, he's manageable. And we have Muth, who he got the 2 turns. We weren't sure about him, and he ended up tracking a horse and ran a big race. So he's really, really good. And the Juvenile, there's some nice. That's a really tough race this year. There's some nice horses. They're young horses, so there's a lot can go on, But I feel pretty good about them. I'm hoping one of them can get the job done. I don't know which one, but I just hope one of them does.
And you've got a Dare Manor in the Distaff.
Distaff, yeah. She's a mare that finally came. She's a big mare. She's like idiomatic, just a big Amazon-looking thing, and she's got a big, long, beautiful stride. She's fast. She's been, I think she's trained very well. She's never faced this type of company, so it's a lot of them, it's a class test, so, she's used to, when she gets her own easy lead, she's unbeatable, but, that doesn't happen in the Breeders' Cup, so there's a lot of pace in there, so she's going to have to break really well and work something out, but she's still, you're not going to take away her weapons or speed. So sometimes you just gotta, if it works out, it works. If it doesn't, you can't worry about it. Beach in the sprint. Speedboat he's an incredibly fast horse. Actually broke the track record his first out as a 2-year-old, and there wasn't anywhere else to run him in the dirt. I tried him on the turf. He won on the turf, but he's a better dirt horse. And the reason I ran him on the turf is because I was keeping him separated from K-Rock last year, because K-Rock was a really fast horse. So, but we gave him the time off, brought him in here, just barely made the Breeders' Cup, ran a big race off the layoff. Dr. Cheval, I think he's one of the horses to beat in the sprint. And so I think the post is going to be very important to him, but he should be right there.
The dirt mile with, who do you have?
National Treasure, the Preakness winner.
Of course,
the Preakness winner.
That's right. Well, we didn't talk about him, so.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where he went off form a little bit, but his last few works have been great. I think a mile and a quarter wasn't maybe his distance. Maybe he'll get it next year. But I thought the way he's been working, I think a mile might be in his realm there. That's just too. I like the way he's been training. So it'll be a long shot, but I think he deserves a chance.
Well, why did you decide the dirt mile versus the classic then? If you think he's like a mile and a quarter horse,
I think a mile he'll be tougher going a mile. I think that's a good spot. Sure.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh my
the grass
God,
horse.
sure. We can't forget about that horse.
The grass horse.
My turf horse.
Yeah.
No, you know what? He's a horse that he's actually his last 2 races have been pretty remarkable. You just don't know what you're up against. These Europeans, they come in there, they're so tough to beat. So but he's doing really well. But you need so much luck in the turf races. You got to get the trip. You got to get the seam. You got to catch the seam. Post position is going to be important for him. you want to be on the, you don't want to lose ground and this and that. It's just a lot of luck involved, but it's going to be. It's been a while since I saddled one on turf going to miles. He's live. He deserves a chance to run, and he's a good horse. So it's going to be exciting.